the meeting to order. All rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, all members are present. Approval of the agenda, is there any changes? I do have an updated schedule of claims, which I will give you the numbers for that when we get to that point. Is there any other changes? Council have anything? Do I have a motion to approve the agenda as presented?
Motion to approve.
Motion by Joe, do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Heidi. Call the question. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5 in favor, none against. Approval of the minutes of the June 3rd, 2026 regular meeting. Is there any questions or corrections for that set of minutes? I do want to make one point that in the minutes it said we had someone mention the house numbers. The next day, anybody that didn't have a house number and we knew about it got notified. Or they're working on it, so. Just an update for the council on that one, so. Okay. No questions? Do I have a motion to approve the minutes of the June 3rd meeting?
Motion to approve.
Motion by Heidi, do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Brad. Call the question, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstentions, motion carries 5 in favor, none against. This now brings us to our public open forum. If there's anyone that would like to speak to the council. State your name and address, please.
Janet Kostreba, 517 Pine Street. About a month ago, I gave Vicki a letter making the council aware of the fact that we have a semi that's going in front of the house all the time. And he comes by every night about 7 o'clock, and I realize that is a residential street, not a commercial street. But I'd like to see the semis stopped. We have signs up that no semis on Pine Street. He's been doing this for years, and we got little kids now that are moving in on the block, and we only have one layer of asphalt over there. And I realize that and you guys all got this letter, and Vicki, I just reminded Vicki about it too, and she said we didn't get much of a reaction, but I'd like to see truck signs, no, especially the semi. It's an 18-wheeler, it's a big truck. We got a lot of little kids running around over there.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a commercial road.
Okay. We will take a look at it and see what the council wants to do on the request. Okay. Thank you. Is there anyone else that would like to speak to the council? A third time, is there anyone else that would like to speak to the council? Okay. Our public open forum is closed. We have no public hearings. We'll then move on to reports and presentations. Police Department monthly report. Joe?
Good evening, Mayor and Council. We got in front of you get the May of 2026 department activity. Nothing real higher than average. If you look, we did have 10 behavioral health calls. We're starting to see a little bit more of that as the weather warms up. We're already at the hot start of those for the month of June, excuse me. You'll see that there was a bunch of 18 permits. That was all the liquor licenses that we renewed. So that's just higher than a little bit normal. Juvenile problems, that was on average with the school still being session, but we're running into a bunch of them now here at schools out. We're doing a lot of babysitting at night here, it seems like. Traffic stops 454. You see UAV assist. When you see the UAV assist, that's just how it's labeled. That's when we used our drone with our department. Anytime we use it, we have to document it through the state. So that's just how it's labeled in our computer program. 4 welfare checks, a few paper services, 238 patrols, 454 traffic stops. I looked, our squad cars came across using our Axon cameras, 120,000 vehicles in the month of May. That's how many our vehicles our squad car went by in the month of May, so it's pretty getting up there. So yeah, overall, I would say nothing out of the ordinary. One thing we are seeing now though, as the last few weeks, now that 94 projects going on, the detour, people's GPSs are coming right through Sauk Center. So Friday and Sundays, we're seeing a major influx in traffic in town.
Yeah.
Because when they're coming to 94, people's GPS are popping them off Melrose and the Sinclair exit. So, Beltline's been kind of a hot topic, we've got some complaints on it. We're gonna show the colors and try to stop these people, but, we had multiple over 70 miles per hour past feed supply on Sunday alone. So, we're dealing with that. Any
Okay.
questions as far as?
Yeah, I figured there'd be an increase someplace because I know coming from the east, they were backed up all the way almost to Freeport.
Yeah, and then, so a lot of people are jumping off in Melrose and Freeport and they're taking 186 in. So we're just
Yeah.
we're getting all, crashes of real, like and we've seen it. Like I've seen it even during weekdays, people are jumping off and we're getting a few more crashes than normal.
Yeah.
It's just more traffic, so. We're watching it, we're aware of it, so we'll be out there we're gonna get the speed sign back out there to try to help, but it's just gonna probably have to take a few weeks of enforcement. That people realize we're out there, that you can't do 40 or 70 in a 40 zone.
Right.
So we'll watch it.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
Public Works Department, Ben?
Good evening, Mayor and Council. This past month in the park, we planted 15 new trees. Several were replacements from 21 trees that did not survive the winter. Tree trimming and landscaping has been ongoing across all of our parks. We installed the new flagpole at the boat landing in the campground and removed the old flagpole in the middle of the campground that was aged and well used. The Baseball Association installed the new scoreboards at JC Park and the arena fields. Those are up and running. We removed the old scoreboards and posts. Several trees came down in the high winds that we had on June 10th. We had everything cleaned up that same day, so luckily not as bad as last year at this time. Splash pad, we had several feature pumps that were rebuilt and a new chemical pump that needed to be installed. We haven't had any down days yet this year, but it certainly has needed quite a bit of just work keeping things running and the numbers where they need to be for the chemicals. Fitness Park, the 40-yard dash timer pad has been replaced along with the push button for the challenge park. That's back up and running. Soccer nets needed some repairs. That's completed. We replaced a sprinkler pump at the Sinclair Lewis Park, and we had a bad valve in the ground at the soccer field. Street department, crosswalk painting, curb painting, and parking lot painting is all taking place right now. The fuel tank pad is being prepped for concrete. The plan is to pour that next week, and then the tanks will go in shortly thereafter. The brush pile was ground up and removed the week of June 8th. Lots of brush and lawn items are still being hauled in daily down there. Tree inspections are taking place now. Notices will be sent out to the affected property owners in the next couple weeks. The road issues that were encountered on 410th Street south of Felling Trailers, that was created by the boring company last fall when they were putting in power. That is all repaired now. We had to remove a large section of curb and then patch that all in with bituminous. So that's all fixed, and the bill is getting sent off to the contractor who did that. There are a few road patches that we plan to complete yet. However, the bulk of the pothole patching is done. We did the dust control on our gravel roads, so that's completed as well. The airport, the apron in front of the main hangar out there and the fuel pad, that was seal coated to prep for the Compass Rose to be painted. That's slated to be painted by the end of this month. And the new hangar, the prep work for the asphalt is done, and hopefully they're gonna put the asphalt down next week. So that's the plan there. A couple other projects, the senior center, that's scheduled to have the final trim installed by the end of this week. They were gonna be there today, but the rain kept them away. And the parking lot project is likely gonna be the end of July or early August when Mark Lee is there to do that. And the seal coating schedule, I haven't got that from Aztec yet. I've requested it, but they haven't got back to me on when they're coming to do Ash Street, East Street, Angel Drive, and get all those done. So once I know that, I'll let you guys know, but the crack sealing is done and those roads are ready for Aztec. So, are there any questions I can answer?
Questions? Do we got a timeline as far as your fuel barrels? Are they-
Yeah, the concrete will be poured Monday next
Okay.
week, and then Fredericks is gonna put them in either late next week or the following. And once they're installed, they'll be commissioned within a day. So
Okay.
I'd say within 2 weeks, we're hoping to be up and running on the fuel system.
Okay.
Yep.
Sounds good. Any other questions? Thank you, Ben.
Thanks.
Move on to action item 7A, approve acceptance of grant speed signs.
So Police Chief Jensen, he applied for and was awarded a grant from MnDOT to install 4 speed notification signs on Trunk Highway 71. So MnDOT will be doing the installation, but we do need to accept the grant and apply for a permit for the installation, which MnDOT will do. And then he has the one location down toward the very south end of town, one up on the north end of town, and then 2 somewhere in the middle. The north and the south ones will have to stay there more permanent. The other ones, I'm not sure exactly how that location will change, but what the action tonight is just to accept the grant and authorize moving forward with the installation.
Okay, questions? Do I have a motion to accept the grant?
Motion to approve.
I'll second.
Motion by Scott, seconded by Heidi. Last minute questions? Call the question. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries 5 in favor, none against. 7B, approve resolution 2026 authorizing purchase of golf cart.
So at the Park Board meeting on June 3rd, the board directed staff to move forward with getting quotes for the purchase of a used replacement golf cart for the campground. We did get a quote from Winters Recreation for a 2021 Yamaha, and then we did find Alexandria Golf Cars has a 2021 Club Car, Resorters Marine has a 2021 Evolution. So we had similar golf carts, but the difference is the one from Winters has the new, he's going to install new lithium batteries. It has the brushless motor. It does have the hitch, the rack, the lights, the safety bars, and also would offer a trade. The Alexandria and the Resorters do not have the hitch, the safety bars, and the street lights. It would cost $1665 to install them to make it an apples to apples comparison. So that makes Winters Rec the low bid. So that is the recommendation that we have from the campground, or from the park board, is to accept that bid from Winters Recreation for the 2021 Yamaha, including the trade. The other 2 weren't interested in a trade of our old cart.
Okay? Questions?
So total price, $6,005 then, for everything?
Pardon me?
Total price then is $6,005 for everything?
$6,005 out the door, yeah.
Any other questions or concerns? Do I have a motion to approve resolution 2026-45?
So moved.
Motion by Brad. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Joe. Last minute discussion. Call the question. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5 in favor, none against. 7C, reconsider reimbursement amount for Zimmerman.
Larry Zimmerman from 630 Birch Street, he had come in and requested that we reconsider what we had initially agreed to pay him back for the installation of pavers. He didn't feel like you understood the full story. He said the issue is, the reason it cost so much from treetop is he had to go back halfway to his house and regrade the whole lawn due to the slope because the sidewalk was lower. And so I looked back at the plans, and right now, it used to be the sidewalk was higher than the curb, and between the sidewalk and curb was 2 steps down to the curb. So when we rebuilt the road with the ADA and the slope that we can have, the sidewalk was lowered, and then the steps were planned to be behind the curb, or behind the sidewalk and up to his. He didn't want steps, so that's why he graded it back so far in order to do just the slope. So it's that extra grading and taking out pavers back halfway to the house and replacing them, which cost more money than if we would have just gone in and done it the way we were gonna do it. He said that no one came to him and told him we were gonna do it. So it just sat there and he thought we forgot about it, and that's why he went ahead and hired it done. And so when I brought it to you, you had looked at what the city engineer had calculated on a square foot basis of what it would cost just to put back that smaller section. And he feels like wasn't exactly what what he should have been reimbursed because of the extra work that he had to do, because he didn't have steps before, he didn't want steps now. And so that's why I said I would bring it back to you before. I did invite him to come to the meeting, he was uncomfortable with that, and so I said I'd bring it back to you if you choose to reconsider it, that's up to you. I think I had asked him, did you talk to the engineer, did you talk to the city, did you talk to the inspector, did you talk to anybody? And he said, well, it got to be October, and he felt that because he hadn't heard that we had forgotten about him. And that was kind of the end of the story there. So I told him I would bring it back to you. He also understands that it's up to the five of you whether you want to let what you reimbursed him prior stand, or if you're up to a different amount.
Comments? Questions?
I think this just comes down to communication and assumptions. I think we did what we felt was right in this circumstance, not because of what he expected, but because what we were offering. And I don't think that this should be reconsidered, personal opinion.
Any other comments, concerns?
I would agree. I think we took the input that we got from the engineer and we determined based on that, those calculations on what the numbers should be. And we were consistent with what we did for others when we took that into consideration. So for me, it's, I think it's fair.
Yeah, and it's no fault of our own that the sidewalk had to be lowered because of ADA. I mean, everybody's dealing with ADA when it came to grinding sidewalks that were lifted and stuff. It's something that we gotta deal with, and it comes on the property owner to fix that stuff, and he didn't want steps. That's kinda on him.
Yeah, I would agree. I think that's kind of the big point is, we had a plan, we were gonna take care of it, and he wanted a different method of that and took it upon himself to go that other route, so.
Yeah, the main thing is just because nobody comes and knocks on your door doesn't mean that you have the right to do whatever you want to do and then think we're going to reimburse you for it. It's a failure to do their own homework on this situation. Yeah, it's not that hard to pick up a phone. And the statement that their property is severely impacted because the lawn is no longer level. How many lawns in this town are level? That's not even an argument to me. So what is the council's wishes?
I'll make the motion to not act on additional reimbursement.
Okay, I have a motion by Heidi. Do I have a second? I'll second it. Any other comments or questions or concerns? Call the question. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries 5 in favor, none against. Unfinished business, 2025-2026 Birch Pine Project.
So I have an update here for all four of the projects that we're working on right now. For the 2025 project, which is Birch and Pine, they're looking at the concrete areas, and they did meet on site with the concrete, with all the different contractors and deciding exactly what we can do with the different areas. One of the items that they're looking at is some test areas for a product for repair in place, and they're doing a test on that, and that'll be happening probably next week, and then they'll have some kind of an answer whether that'll help with some of the areas that need to be replaced. Other areas need to be absolutely taken out and replaced. So they're still within our window, so that we don't have like a set time when this is going to occur, because they have a deadline to get everything done, but we don't have like steps within that process of when certain things have to be complete. The restorations for the seeding, he's recommending it's best left for early September, but it can be done if it would be watered. So a lot of people had this spring in the areas that got dormant seeded last fall, their grass came up, but there was a lot of weeds. And some of them aren't mowing them, which is kind of unfortunate, because if you don't mow it, it's going to go to seed, and then you're going to get more weeds. So, the people that have mowed it and are watering it, the grass seems to be taking over. So we do have some areas that aren't being mowed, so we need to decide what we're going to do with those areas. He said we can move forward, but we'll have to make sure that they get watered. So is that something we want to take on? Is it something we need the contractor to do? If we need the contractor to do it, then is he going to charge us extra? So those are the kinds of things we'll be talking to Keith about what's the best way to move forward. with that reseeding in those areas where the weeds have come up, which is typical when you have dormant seeding going on. We don't have a date yet for the wear course because we don't want to do the wear course until the concrete work has been repaired. So we have some projects to happen yet. Everything is still scheduled to be completed on time. It's just that we don't know for sure what day the concrete guy is going to come here and start replacing. So on the author's second edition, they're going to start next week, actually. We had the pre-construct meeting with them. They have substantial completion for late August. They hope to have the paving down by mid-August. So they'll be moving out there. I did send in the permit for the water main extension, the sewer main extension. All of the different permits have already been issued. And so we are good to go as soon as the contractor gets here next week. Phase 1 of Trunk Highway 71, that's all the side streets. Plans are about 30% complete right now as far as working on how everything gets to be tied in. We did the wetland delineation. It matches pretty much what we had thought based on the maps that we had, so that connector road can happen without impacting wetlands or the floodplain. What they're working on now mostly is to make sure that the way we design this will tie into what MnDOT's planning to do on the Trunk Highway. So that's really what's taking up some time. And also the soil borings were sent into the geotech, so we'll be getting quotes on that. And so that we hope to have the plans completed for that part about mid-July, because we'll be going out probably in December for bids on that project. And Trunk Highway Phase 2, which is the main corridor, we keep having utility coordination meetings. They revised the general utility layout for the sanitary and water main, and now MnDOT has accepted that. And so MnDOT is progressing with their plans, and they're also about, their plans are not going to be 30% until mid-fall. So they work on a 30, 40, 50, 60 type percent that deadlines that they have. So we just keep trying to stay on pace with them for that, but yet get our early project done. So everything is moving along as we kind of expected, so that's good. We should be talking about shortly the assessment hearing for the Phase 1 project. Because a lot of people are calling, what is this going to cost me? Now that we amended the assessment policy, we can have those conversations and fine tune those and probably have that hearing this fall, so everybody knows what that's going to be. So I think that's about it for the updates for that project.
Okay, questions?
Just one question on the Phase 1, Highway 71. We had conversations about potential discussions with the folks on Morning View and the bypass road. Are we going to do any more? Have we had any discussions? We doing anything else to have more conversations, or is that pretty much
So what
done?
I talked to Keith about, and they've staked the center line, and they wanted to get the wetland delineation, all that done, so that's all been done. So now he's doing the connection from First Street to Morning View Drive, like on one sheet of paper to show it on an aerial view, so that we can show exactly what it's gonna look like, where the floodplain is, where the wetland is, and that we'll be able to share that with the people out there. I've only had 3 people come in, and they've the same 3 people that have been here at the council meeting that have expressed concern. I've also had people that are very positive about it. So I don't know if we have to have a neighborhood meeting, if we want to share this with them once we have it, but I thought once I get it, I'll share it with you. And then we can, if we want to have a meeting or invite them to a council meeting even, it's not outside the realm, but at this point, until we actually have that document in hand, that we can actually show them, I don't know that we want to open that up until we have something to share. But I'm not opposed to it.
All right, just trying to make sure everybody knows what the direction is or what we
Yeah.
plan to do.
Yeah.
One quick question on, has there been any more of the discussion on the MnDOT share of the stormwater with,
Well, last week, she said she'd have numbers by the end of the week, but the end of the week came and went. So, but,
okay,
yeah, that's probably the most important question that I need an answer to right now, because that ties into all the funding for the whole project, so.
okay.
I just have a very not huge question, but is there a possibility to include in the conversation regarding the seeding that could eventually, affect other people in future projects, but the dormant seed education, is there is there something that's sent out in these letters that the Birch Pine people were notified, how to maintain, how to, like, when you said that they hadn't mowed and they should have mowed to avoid these weeds, was that ever expressed?
We actually talked to the engineer earlier this week and asked him to put together a follow-up newsletter and include that information in it.
Okay.
So when he gets back from vacation, hopefully he'll get that put out and get that out next week.
Okay. I got one comment as far as the connector road thing. When we did that author's edition, I don't remember ever having a formal, we were adding on to a road and going out farther, which was going to increase traffic. I don't think we had a formal meeting with them people to say yay or nay to whether or not we were going ahead with that project. And I think it's going to open up a can of worms if we all of a sudden start doing that, because we're going to have everybody second guessing everything the city's trying to do to grow and look into the future. Also on the 25-26 Birch Pine project, I had talked to Keith before about it. There's a few people that are missing their survey pins.
Yep.
And he said that he was gonna have his crew come in and take care of doing all of that. And I'm still getting people saying that hasn't happened yet.
It
So,
hasn't happened yet, because we haven't done it yet.
right.
But any pins that were in place, because we go through everything before we do the project, and we know which pins were there,
Mhm.
and we'll put back all the pins that were taken out as a result of the project. So,
The only reason why I brought it up is because it sounded like it's kind of sliding it off into the contractor's fault that some of this list isn't getting done when that one could have been done a while ago by his own crew. So,
yeah, it's on the list to get done.
okay, so. Any other questions? Okay, then we'll move on to new business. 9A, 2026 candidacy notices.
I put this on here because it's a little bit different than in the past. In the past, the candidate filing for the state general election has always been, it ends on primary day and you back it up 2 weeks, and that's your 2 weeks. They've changed that. They've moved the whole thing 2 weeks back prior to that. So the last day to do it is 2 weeks before the election. So now, July 14th, July 28th is the 2 weeks that you can sign up for elected office, so. I just wanted to make sure to bring that up in case any of you are interested in signing up again. And you just can't wait till election day anymore. You'll miss the vote.
And that's of like 4:30 in
5
the
o'clock.
5 o'clock, okay. Not that anybody's waiting for the last minute, but it's
Yeah, we have to
just,
stay open,
right,
just
I
in
know you do.
case.
Okay, Compass Rose Airport,
Ben brought that up as well, the Minnesota 99s. This is actually an international group of women pilots who goes around to airports and paints these for free. Their labor's for free, we'll buy the paint. Yeah, but they will be painting the new Compass Rose at the airport. In the past, it used to be kind of in front of Central Plains Hangar. Now we're kind of moving it out of the way. But they plan to have it all done and before we have the fly-in, so that'll be nice. So.
any questions on that? Hearing nothing, we'll move on to our consent agenda. We have a schedule of claims of $114,937.74. What we did is they removed one from Coburn's and adjusted the total from Treetop. So we have a total of the same. And on June checks, paid claims payroll, $746,932.88. We have a request from James Macy representing the Sauk Center Lions for a road closure for a soapbox derby on Sunday, July 19th, 2026 from 11 a.m. until 4 p.m. 3rd Street North from Ash Street to Birch Street. There's any questions on the consent agenda? Otherwise, I will look for a motion to approve it.
Motion to approve.
Motion by Heidi to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Joe. Last minute discussion. Call the question. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. 5 in favor, none against. We have no informational items tonight, so that brings us to the end of our.
Just interrupt just quick.
Yep, go ahead.
Kostreba's request on the trucks, do you want me to bring that to a council discussion? Bring you more information? Which direction do we want to go on that?
I would think it should come back to the council to decide if we want to make it a no truck zone.
Okay.
And at the same time, we can find out, I know it's a large truck, but weight-wise, we gotta remember that the weight goes by per axle and not by,
I'll bring that information back to
Sure.
the next meeting.
so.
Okay.
Okay? That a general consensus, that's okay?
Works.
All right. That brings us to the end of our agenda. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
So,
Motion by Brad.
Second.
Seconded by Scott. Call the question. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5 in favor, none against. Meeting adjourned.